Good morning, everyone. We are here again today for another FraudCast. We want to talk to you today about some different fraud trends that are happening. There's been a lot of issues over the past couple of weeks, specifically in the Dayton area, with some fraudulent things that are happening with people's financial accounts. So Renee is here today to talk about those things. So Renee, I'm going to turn it over to you. We're going to talk a little bit about account takeovers to begin with, right?
Yep. So account takeovers happen when your personal information has been compromised in some way, and a lot of times how it's happening is through a text that says, please contact us about your debit card, and they make it appear like it's from your financial institution. So number one, we would not then ask you, if you called us, we would not ask you for your personal information. We would not ask you for your debit card number, your CVV on the back, the 3-digit code, or the date of expiration. If somebody gets a hold of you and they're asking about that, you need to hang up and call us at the number you know to be Damet's number, because they probably put a wrong number in there and it's not ours. So that's one version of account takeovers, the text messages. It's also happening through emails or computer virus pop-ups. If you get a thing saying, click here about your bank account, I got one the other day from Bank of America, and I don't have a Bank of America account. But they're doing it through ways like they'll try to let you think it's your financial institution. But as a financial institution, we will not ask you for those personal identifiers. We're not going to ask you for your home banking name and password and security questions. We're not going to do that. So these are the kinds of things that are occurring where people are giving out their information unknowingly, realizing later that it may have been a fraudster that's doing it. So.
Right. Okay. So let's talk also about some of the other ways that people are taking advantage of individuals. So gift cards, for example, using gift cards.
Right.
Talk a little bit about how that's happening.
A lot of those cases where they take over your account or call you about something, they'll say they can help you, but you need to send them information off a gift card. So they want you to go buy an iTunes or Apple or some kind of card, Google, at the grocery store or Walmart or wherever they sell them, and then they want you to give them the numbers off the back of the card. Once you give them those numbers, the money's going to be gone, and they're really not doing anything to help you or protect you. No legitimate business is going to ask you to do that. It's a very common trend amongst the fraudsters to use the debit cards to purchase gift cards and then use those things. The other thing that's occasionally happening is there are people that are asking you to deposit money into a Bitcoin ATM, which they do have a few around Dayton area. When it goes into that Bitcoin machine, it goes to whatever account they've given you, and it's gone. So the important thing is to remember never to react quickly when somebody asks you for something like that, and to seek help. Excuse me. To seek help if they do ask you for those things, to make sure to reach out to somebody. But you need to be very protective of your personal information, not give it to somebody that you don't know. One thing that we've heard about is they're actually doing what's called spoofing a phone number. So they may make it look like it's our number. However, if they do and they start asking you those personal identifiers that we would not ask for, hang up and call us at that number. They're not sitting here waiting to answer the questions. If somebody says, oh, we can connect you to a fraud person at your institution to verify this is legitimate, I guarantee you it's not legitimate, because I haven't had anybody calling me to ask about it. But they use a lot of creative techniques to try and put you at a disadvantage, making you think something's going wrong with your account. Just reach out to us. Use home banking to look for things. If you get a pop-up and they ask to take over your computer, don't let them. Turn the computer off, call us, and we'll help you. We'll help you understand what's going on.
If you're ever in doubt of someone who has called you and is asking you information over the phone, hang up and call the financial institution that is, kind of the subject of this whole thing. Call that financial institution directly and speak with someone. When you're calling out on a phone number, you know who you're calling.
Right.
When someone is calling into you, you don't know who's on the other end of that phone. So if you're ever in doubt, we just encourage you to just stop talking to that individual, hang up, and call that financial institution.
And if you should find you're in a position where your account's been taken over, you would need to come in and talk to someone. We'd need to open up a new account. We can take you through the steps and try to make it as painless as possible. We've had a lot of situations. Most recently was the mailbox thefts where people were experiencing this. But the level of this account takeover activity through text messaging and calling is really on the rise. I was at a meeting last week and like 4 or 5 banks talked about how this is going on at their bank, and some local credit unions too. You may have already heard about this, but it's important to understand that we're here to protect you. Any financial institution is trying to look out for your best interests. So sometimes what we tell you may not be what you want to hear, but we are going to work with you to get through that problem.
Right. So if you suspect that you have divulged some personal information, give us a call and let us walk you through the steps that you need to do to make sure you keep your account safe and get things straightened out for the future. Last thing I wanted to mention, well, actually 2 more things. We've got social media issues. That is another kind of tactic that some of the fraudsters are using. So Renee, talk about the social media side of things.
So a lot of people will see, say somebody's hacked their Facebook account and they've created an account. What they're actually doing is cloning your account. Generally speaking, and it happened to me last night, somebody will try to take over your friends list. They'll figure out who you're friends with and they'll start sending friend requests. And then they start these emails like in instant messaging, how are you doing? How's your family? And it's somebody that maybe you're already friends with on Facebook or Instagram. So they're making it look like it's legitimate. Then they get down to the point where they start asking you for money. So number one, if you're already friends with somebody on social media, do not accept a new friend request from them. I, of course, loving fraud like I do, played with a guy that was impersonating me a little bit last night. Just because, you know, what can I say? I don't encourage it because sometimes you may find yourself deeper in the conversation than you want to be.
But this helps Renee learn all of this too.
You know, I understand, exactly. It's a learning experience.
So we can relay the information to you.
So sometimes in those messages, they'll tell you that they've won a grant and that you can apply for it too. That's not real. Nobody's giving away money for nothing. But they try to get personal with you to make you think it's really the person you know. I think what was funny is when I reached out to the person who'd cloned me, I was like, hey, my friends know you're not the real me. Get a job. But they're just trying to get people to fall for the fact that their friend may be asking for help. So I encourage you again, if you see something like that, report it. There's a report button on Facebook and Instagram where you can report somebody for impersonation. Hopefully your friends let you know that it's happened. And that's what happened with me when my friends said, hey, did you just send me a message request on Instagram? I was like, no. But they're just taking like your photo off the social media. They're taking your name and they're trying to get people to fall for the fact that it's you, but they'll end up asking for money. So that's how it's working, is it's cloning the account. It's not hacking and getting into your own account. They're creating a new one that looks like you.
Okay. So. Last thing. Tax season, right? We are in the midst of filing taxes.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
So first and foremost, I encourage you to file taxes early. The fraudsters, if they are doing it, they're trying to file early too for people that it's not them. So the earlier the better in most cases to file your taxes. And it's important to make sure that your proper banking information is on that if you're expecting it to be automatically deposited for you. But it is important that you file your taxes to protect you from having anybody that would take over your thing and try to get tax money. Now, the one thing I should also tell you is if the IRS contacts you and says somebody has already filed taxes in your name, what will happen is they will contact you probably via mail and they will want you to establish a PIN for future filing of taxes. So that is completely normal if the IRS would contact you like that. But
that's generally via mail.
Yes.
They will reach out, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So file early. You know, if you can, if you're not a file early person, just pay attention to any mail that you would get.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully this has provided you all with some good tips to keep yourself safe. Keep your financial account safe and watch out for any of those scams and fraudsters that are trying to steal your identity and get into your financial accounts. Renee, any last minute thoughts?
if you have any problems or any questions, please don't hesitate to call. They can direct you to me, or sometimes even our MSRs already know what to do when you've been compromised. But you're always welcome to call and ask me, and I'll help you in any way that I can.
All right. Thank you for the info today.
Thank you.
And I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Bye, everybody.